A 19-year-old school pupil who is accused of murdering his schoolmate is expected to appear in the Johannesburg Magistrate Court this morning. The learner from the Forest Hill High School in Turffontein, Johannesburg, is alleged to have stabbed 3 fellow learners, killing one of them. The other 2 are in hospital. A case of murder and 2 attempts of murder has been opened. For more on the story, we now cross live to our reporter Mahlako Komane at the Johannesburg Magistrate Court. A very good morning to you, Mahlako. Before we go into what we can expect, briefly tell us what the background of the story is, what caused the fights.
Yes, good morning, Desiree. The fight, we then received information on Monday, that they had been stabbing at the high school. We understand that it was gang-related violence, and this was what MEC Lesufi had explained to the public when he gave a briefing as to what transpired there.
So what can we expect today?
Today we expect the 19-year-old suspect it's his first appearance. We're then not really sure whether or not he will be also applying for bail, if the actual formal bail proceedings will go ahead today. So that's what we are waiting to find out here. We understand that he was then caught later on in the evening. If you remember, after the incident happened at the school, he then ran away, and police then launched a manhunt for him, and he was later arrested at his aunt's place in Dobsonville, then taken into police custody. So today we'll find out if indeed they will be releasing him. We understand that this is, unfortunately, is not a minor, so he can then stay incarcerated. But with him being a first-time, we think with him being a first-time offender, and whatever his legal counsel may advance for the reasons as to why he shouldn't be incarcerated in the long term. But it's today that we will find out if there are any special circumstances that warrant him being released on bail. We'll understand that on the Monday, when this incident happened, he was writing exams. Whether he'll then be able to continue with that, we also do not know. You remember that also MEC Lesufi on the Monday also announced that the schooling activity at that particular school would have been suspended for 48 hours. Psychologists were also dispatched to the schools to give counseling to learners that witnessed this thing, learners that may be traumatized. But tomorrow the school will open and exams will resume at Forest High.
Thinking about what the MEC of Education had to say, let's just quickly listen in on that before we continue with our conversation.
We are told that this might be a gang-related activity because things started over the weekend or last week Friday.
That's right.
And they were carried over to today, and that's when this unfortunate incident happened. You can see next to the body of the deceased, there were weapons there. So it's quite clear that there was an intention to attack as well. But that's the part that we'll leave to the police to investigate and attend to. What we have established thus far is that unfortunately the perpetrator provided the school with the wrong home address. And when the police went to the address that we have in our books, we established that it's the wrong address. But the family is assisting, is cooperating with us. They've taken the police to where they suspect it is his hideout. And we are quite convinced that the police will do their work and arrest that particular individual.
Mahlako, we know you're at the court this morning, but back at the school, is there an indication that the problem has been nipped in the bud, or are there any indications that violence could continue?
We know that MEC did say that he had about 18 schools where they had, similar type of challenges, where one would say these are problematic schools, if you may call them that. We know that the school was quarantined, as he called it, for 48 hours. There was no schooling activity. They were trying to, deal with the emotions and the psyche of the children there. We also know that this activity actually started on the Friday, and filtered down into the Monday where the stabbing happened. We will only find out tomorrow when the children go back to school to then establish whether this gang rivalry has been quelled down. But understanding that hopefully students have seen that being involved in such things does not pay. Stabbing people is a crime.
You're at the court this morning. Any sense of occasion? Are there people there to support either for or against?
Yes, there's no one at the moment is here. We haven't seen anybody coming to show some sort of support or solidarity with either of the parties, but we will be walking in and we'll be seeing if the community, the Turffontein community is here. You remember that there was a big outcry from community members expressing concern about the type of activities that they see happening outside of the schools, of the school rather, by the children. Residents also saying they see children there just smoking, drinking during schooling hours. They are just seen loitering around. So the councillor also addressed the community, saying that it was time for the community to meet and deal with such issues, that they cannot just give the responsibility to the principal, because some were calling for the head of the principal, saying that the principal must resign. But today we will see that what were the outcomes of that meeting. What is it that the community has then decided to do to try and clean up the situation, or clean up their school.
Mahlako, thank you so much. We hope for an update later on in terms of what will transpire at the courts.